God has told me some years ago with all humility. I saw Nigeria becoming like Dubai. Write this thing down. If Christ does not come, I saw Nigeria become like Dubai. It will go back to those days. Okay, those days Ghanaians were going to Nigeria, Agege, to like Libya. They were going to take work and get money like Abrochwe. That thing is coming back again like 3 times. So the old generation, God wants to end it and start a new generation. Last 2 years, God told me that youth will take over the nation Nigeria. So when this man comes, you will see 30 years old as ministers. You will see say youth take leadership roles, and they will think about their friends. They will bring more vibrancy. They will pass laws that will favor them and their other things. No, this is what the Lord told me. No one can change it. Listen, no one can change it.
And secondly, what would you say about people that are saying some people are too young to be governors in Lagos because they're just 40 years of age?
Well, thank you, Rufai. You know, on the issue of somebody being young and modern, it's laughable. It's actually, we should actually stop people from being old and contest. If I have my way, if we can retire our bishops at 70, retire our professors at 70, Supreme Court at 70, it's time we put age for this our politics, so that people can also retire.
Last 2 years, God told me that youth will take over the nation Nigeria. So when this man comes, you will see 30 years old as ministers.
Because there's a reason why we say at 70, 75, people should go and rest. So let us, is these people that are saying it that are bringing confusion?
So the old generation, God wants to end it and start a new generation. Last 2 years, God told me that youth will take over the nation Nigeria. So when this man comes, you will see 30 years old as ministers.
Age of 40 is age where people are becoming or became president in America, the world's biggest economy, 25 trillion, and you're just 400 billion. And you're talking about age. That is the right age, the right background, the right education.
Responding to the point you made about age, maybe you want to clarify that. He said it's not about age. The task of nation building is a mutual responsibility between the young and the old. The old contributing experience and maturity, and the young collaborating with audacity and diversity.
And listen to what he said. We need experience of age. But the age and the old have not used that experience. Rather, what they are doing is claiming experience in failure. They've not used it to progress the place. Rather, they tell you, do you know I've been doing this for 30 years? And so what? The place failed. How can you claim experience in failure?
Last 2 years, God told me that youth will take over the nation Nigeria. So when this man comes, you will see 30 years old as ministers.
If you have been doing it for 30 years and we're in this mess, then you should actually cover yourself in shame. Not saying I've been around for 20 years. Thereby, it's my entitlement. No. You have to claim entitlement where things are progressing, where things are going well. And that's what it should be.
Okay. Now, one of the reasons why the age conversation has come up, particularly with Gbadebo Rodsvivo in Lagos State, is also looking at his political experience. So beyond just his biological age, what some people have said is that he doesn't have that political heritage. He doesn't have that experience in governance and public service. I'd like you to speak to that, please, because it's beyond age. It's also the fact that, so you talked about the fact that he went to MIT, fantastic, Ivy League school. However, they're saying that if you're going to, govern a diverse, cosmopolitan city like Lagos, you would need more than an MIT certificate. What do you have to say to that?
Which experience? When you talk about experience, my sister, when I was campaigning to be governor of Anambra State, I've never worked in government. I've never had anything to do with government. I was faced with the same thing. I was his age. I started campaigning in 2003. 2001, I was just 39. By the time that the election took place, I was 41, 42. So I was at that age. And it was the same thing. People were saying, hey, who is he? He has never worked in government before. He has not done this before. The only experience they can claim is the same experience of corruption, experience of stealing, experience of doing the wrong thing. In fact, at times it's good to bring somebody who doesn't have that experience so he can clean up the mess. I came in without that experience, and when they wanted to teach me that experience, I told them they are wrong. I recall telling my people to ask me, why would government of Anambra State have a lodge in Abuja? They said, because every state have it. I said, well, we can't. The governor doesn't live in Abuja, so shut it down. Why would this one happen? Why is the government going to have 18 guest houses? They say because that's the government, because you have guests. These are things we shut down and made us have the money to do the work. So the experience they have is the experience I'm trying to remove. That's the structure they're telling you about. What you saw is challenging now is the structure that we are saying we have no structure, we have no structure. That's the experience. As far as I'm concerned, he's at the right age, the right energy, the right educational background, whatever there is that you think is lacking, because of his exposure and everything, he will be able to read it. A job of a leader is always listening and learning. And I did that, and we succeeded. Listen to the people, do what they want, prove your integrity, and look at your background, where you're coming from. Remember that if you steal, it's going to show in the alumni listen of MIT that you're not a thief. Age should not be used, especially to talk about inexperience. I'm also saying that age at certain times should be used to say you can no longer physically, because the job requires physical energy. I can tell you, go and ask those who know me very well. I used to go travel to London and back here 3 times in a week. I arrive in the morning, come back in the evening, arrive in the morning, come back in the evening. Today is not possible. I was doing it when I was 30s, up to 40. Today, I probably need to break it. So if I get to 70 something, it won't be the same thing. If there's anybody who can move anywhere, I went to not just 36 states when I was campaigning. I'm the only person who went beyond. If I go to Ogun, I'll visit another place. If I went to Oyo, I went to Obomosho, I went to Oyo. I went to Adamawa, I was in Numan, I was in Mubi, I was in Medugri, I was in Biu, I went to Edo, I was in Auchi, Uromi, and this. It was possible. The other candidates can't do the same. They can't knock themselves. It has to do with physical energy.
Well, Mr.
And it's important.
We have to begin to wrap up now.
So, Obi, the name is Peter. What God wants to do in Nigeria is that the Lord wants to end a certain generation and start a new building. So he brought this man as the rock where he will stand on him to rebuild.
Hello beloved, welcome back to our YouTube channel, and I believe you heard everything that the prophet of God has to say and Peter Obi himself concerning the situation of our nation Nigeria. Seriously, we still have a long way to go as a nation. And please, before we continue with this video, if you have not subscribed to this channel, what are you waiting for? Subscribe, like the video, share to all social media platforms, and make sure you turn on your post notification button so that whenever we drop any video, you'll be the first person to be notified. And God bless you for doing that. Now, let's get back to the video. Seriously, watching the video and listening to what Peter Obi is saying, with the present predicament of our nation as a country, I ask myself, when are we going to get it right as a nation? Yes, a lot of things is going on, and a lot of prophecy has been dropping. This is what is going to happen in Nigeria, and all those things are unfolding one after the other. For me, I pay attention mostly to what Peter Obi said in Arise TV News when he was interviewed. Yes, whenever you call me politicians, they will tell you are not experienced, you don't know what you are doing. Nigeria needs somebody that is somehow experienced. Like, personally, I followed 2023 general election, and that was exactly what we were using. So don't say that Peter Obi is not experienced enough, he cannot handle the situation in Nigeria. Tinubu is once a governor of a state. He can take care of Nigeria, this and that. They use those political words to convince some people, even though as a nation we know that our votes never count. But look at the person who is experienced as they claimed back then. And look at the present predicament of our nation, Nigeria. The same thing happened when they were trying to contest for governorship in Lagos State. They say the person is not the citizen of the country, of the state, and he is not even matured enough. He doesn't have a political history to become a governor of the state. So they find their way and they did what they can do to send him, never to succeed. But look at where we are today as a nation. That is in Lagos. If you come out and said the Lagos is smelling, they will come after you like what the copper did. And that is the fact on ground. You cannot deny the truth. Nobody can go outside and say, when you talk of insecurity, we are not experiencing insecurity in Nigeria. We are experiencing it because that is the truth and that is the fact that is on ground. Nobody can boastfully say, the economy is better. We are doing well as a nation. No, we are not doing well because that is not the truth. But if you said we are not doing well as a nation, it is the truth and is the fact. Like the case of how they said he had not experienced, like Peter Obi said it completely. He said that the experience they are talking about is experience in failure and they should be ashamed of themselves. That is just the truth about it. But Nigerian politicians will never be ashamed of what they do because they celebrate those who are corrupted, those who loot our money, and those who celebrate seeing people suffering. And look at where we are today. That is why I ask, when are we going to get it right as a nation? When? Go to some African countries, we see young people becoming a minister. But in Nigeria, they will give to old people that don't even have anything to offer. We saw what happened when President Buhari was in office. So somebody that they gave Minister of Education, he will come and tell you, I don't even know anything about education, but they just gave me that office. How do you expect that kind of person to perform or to do something better? Nothing. And that is where we find ourselves today. Yes, we gave the office, or the INEC gave the power to somebody they claim to have the experience. Look at where we are today as a nation. I always pray and I always encourage every individual. May God help us, and we continue to pray for God's intervention, because as a nation, the youth are suffering, but the old people don't even care. Unless the youth stand up and fight for their rights. Please know what is good and do it for yourself. Don't expect or keep waiting that one day God will come and save our country, Nigeria. God have done his part. That one of the prophecy will drop here on this channel. The prophet said, for God, he wants Peter Obi to be the president of Nigeria. But those who control the affairs of the nation physically will give us who they want to give. And that is where we are today as a nation. It will be very difficult for us to move forward if we continue like this. How many young people are ministers in Nigeria? No way. They can never give, because they keep appointing those who are corrupt, those who don't even have anything to offer. And those are the kind of people they will keep giving. How long are we going to remain like this? Things go wrong. Whenever you come out and said anything about it, they will say, you are insulting the president, or you are insulting the governor. It's only God that will help us in this country, Nigeria. Things are getting out of hand. How many youths in Nigeria are in position? Give the youths. They have the experience. Give them. Yes, I know. Our youths are corrupt. The politicians, they will just, when they say give position, they will go and beg the president. Not people who are qualified for the job. Not those who are qualified for the job. But look at where we are today. Underdeveloped, and will continue like this till the end of time. It's only God that will help us in this nation, and may you continue to pray for our country, Nigeria. Please make sure you subscribe to this channel, like the video and share. May God bless you and bless you, man. I will see you soon in the next video.